Josh Mandel is going to be our first speaker. Most all of us know Josh Mandel. Josh grew up in Cleveland, but he apparently has overcome that. He went to Ohio State University, and he has a bachelor's and a JD. He served 8 years in the Marines in intelligence and somehow managed to serve overseas even though he was in our military. He served on city council as a state representative and then was a state treasurer for quite a few years. Josh is not a rhino. He's a true conservative, and he's running for the U.S. Senate. Come on up, Josh.
All right, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me. As you mentioned, I am not a rhino. We need constitutional conservatives, pro-Trump, pro-life, pro-gun conservatives, I believe, at all levels of government. And unfortunately, what happened here at the State House, Governor DeWine trampled on our liberty. He shut down schools, will let casinos stay open. He shut down churches, will let abortion clinics stay open. And then just this week, we uncovered that he has the radical, racist, revisionist 1619 project from the New York Times on the website of the state of Ohio, paid for by our tax money. So yeah, I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I believe there's a fight in front of us. And that fight is for the hearts and minds of our kids.
Yes. Right.
The radical left, the secular left, a lot of the establishment rhinos like DeWine and Kasich and others, they are trying to advance this indoctrination of our kids. The 1619 project, what it does is it's trying to teach our kids that somehow the American Revolution was fought to protect slavery. That's a bunch of garbage. The American Revolution was fought to advance the cause of freedom and liberty.
Right, right.
America's a place that was founded and grew strong on Judeo-Christian values, not on radical Muslim values, not on atheism, but on Judeo-Christian values. And what separates those Judeo-Christian values from all these other belief sets, there's so many things, but one of the main things is the acknowledgement and the willingness to fight for good over evil.
Right.
And this fight we have right now to stop critical race theory, to stop the New York Times 1619 project, and to make sure our kids are raised up being proud to be Americans, this is a fight for good versus evil. Make no mistake about it. The government schools are trying to indoctrinate our children. They're trying to trick our children. They are lying to our children. I'm a dad. I have 3 little kids, Gideon, who's 5 years old, Judah, who's 6 years old, and Rosie, who's 8 years old. And I'm raising them to be proud to be Americans, but I'm also raising them not to see skin color. That you treat everyone like a VIP. Right. Doesn't matter what color skin they have, doesn't matter if they're tall or short, fat or skinny, handicapped, whether they're mommy and daddy have a lot of money or a little money, it doesn't matter where they're from, you treat everyone with dignity and respect.
Right.
And what they're trying to do with the government schools and the radical left and the secular left, and now DeWine is trying to do with this critical race theory, they're trying to take little kids who don't see race and teach them to see race.
Yes, that's right.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Think about Martin Luther King said, judge people based on the content of their character, not the color of their skin.
Right.
But you have Obama, who's divided people by race.
Yes.
The 1619 project dividing people by race. Yes. Critical race theory dividing people by race. We don't want to divide people by race. We are all Americans. Listen, I served in the United States Marine Corps. I did my small part. And when we were in the Marines, we didn't care what color skin someone had. We didn't care where they were from. We didn't care what religion they were. All we cared was, were they a good Marine?
Thank you.
And I put my life in the hands of guys from totally other different cultures and backgrounds and race and ethnicity, and they put their lives in my hand. And all we cared about is like, are you a good Marine? And that's how we should be here in the civilian world as well. Are you a good citizen? Are you a man and woman of character? Are you a good person? But unfortunately, all this critical race theory, all this 1619 project, all this garbage, it's all about dividing people.
That's right. Right.
And listen, the Democrat Party used to be like a three-legged stool. One leg of the stool was the abortionists. Every day they were violating the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not murder. They were killing babies. They continue to kill babies. They need to be stopped. The second leg of the stool, these radical environmentalists, where environmentalism became liberal, or where environmentalism became the religion. Liberalism became the religion. And then the third leg of that stool in the Democrat Party was the government, the teachers' unions.
Right.
But now that stool has 5 legs. Add on to it the mainstream, lamestream, deadwood media. Make no mistake, they are a department of the Democrat Party.
Right. Absolutely.
And you add on the big technology companies. They are a department of the Democrat Party. Make no mistake about it. Every time I turn around, I'm getting kicked off Facebook, I'm getting kicked off Twitter, I'm back on, I'm off, I'm on, I'm off. Listen, these guys, all they're doing is covering for the radical left. All they're doing is acting and operating as a department of the Democrat Party. And the mainstream media does the same thing, whether it's in this town, the Columbus Dispatch, or in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Enquirer, the Akron Beacon Journal, or the Cleveland Plain Dealer. They are all fake news.
Right. Right.
This week, I took a mask and I burned it. I lit it on fire. This mask mandate and all the mandates from DeWine, it was a trampling of our liberty.
That's right.
And think about what he did. Small mom and pop businesses, family-owned restaurants, clothing shop, barber shop, beauty shop, shut them down. But who got to stay open? Walmart, Costco, Target, these big woke corporations, the same woke corporations that are trying to stuff down the throat of our kids the critical race theory, the 1619 project. The same woke corporations that are trying to say it's okay to have boys play girls sports. It's not okay to have boys play girls sports. There's nothing okay about that.
Right.
There are certain truths in this world. One of those eternal truths is that boys are boys and girls are girls.
Right.
My 8-year-old daughter, Rosie, she does Taekwondo now. Maybe 8 years from now when she's 16, she'll be playing softball or basketball or soccer. I don't want some 16-year-old boy in her locker room. That's crazy.
Yes. Right.
And that's not a Democrat or Republican issue. I have not come across any mom or dad in the state, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, vegetarian, what have you. I haven't come across anyone who thinks it's okay to allow boys to play girls' sports. That's insane. Even more insane to allow them in the locker rooms. I mean, people are going crazy out there. They're going crazy out there. Now, one of the things that I think's important when we look forward to who we elect into office, we have to ask the question, what do these candidates for office use as their guide to make decisions? And the problem with DeWine, the problem with Kasich, and the problem with most of these establishment rhino politicians in Washington is that they use the wrong guide.
Amen.
They use lobbyists as their guide. They use these woke corporations as their guide. They use their donors as their guide. They use the media as their guide. None of those are the right guides for making decisions. So if you forget everything I've said here today, if you forget everything, I want you to remember this one thing. My name's Josh Mandel, and when I go to the U.S. Senate, I will use two documents as my guide to make decisions. Bible in one hand, Constitution in the other. Thank you very much.